In this last part of the lecture, we will be looking at responsive measures. It's important for countries to be prepared that in the event that there is terrorist attack, we will be able to deal and to minimize damage and harm caused by the terrorist act. There are two categories of responsive measures. So there are the emergency preparedness exercises as well as collaboration with other countries. In the previous part of the lecture, I think we also went through the same factor collaboration with other countries. It was under preventive measures. So just take note that there's a difference between preventive and responsive. Responsive measures target at measures that are taken to deal with a terrorist attack in the event that it happens. Okay, let us look at the first responsive measure, which is emergency preparedness exercises. Usually, it is held within a country. It is to test whether a country has sufficient contingency plan. What is contingency plan means backup plan. So does a country have enough backup plans to react to a terrorist attack in the event that it happens? So in Singapore, usually these frequent exercises or preparedness exercises, you call it, they are held by Singapore Police Force and the Civil Defense. So an example of this is called the exercise Heartbeat. Okay, this preparedness exercise involves the home team agencies, the communities, as well as the private organization. It is to see how well prepared the community as well as the agency are in terms of dealing with security threats. And through this exercise, we hope that the community as well as the agencies, they are well prepared. And in the event that there is a real terror attack, we can recover quickly after the incident. These are some pictures. I'm sure you have seen some of this reported in the news where the exercises are held at shopping mall, cinema, as well as uh, MRT station. Another of such preparedness exercise is the exercise North Star. It is a large scale emergency preparedness exercise which tests the whole of government's ability to respond to emergency situation. So it tests how the government agency work together to respond in case there is an emergency scenario. So that is to make sure that the government is well prepared, okay, when faced with terrorism threats. Okay, the second type of responsive measure is collaboration with other countries. Um, that means to work with other countries to improve our ability to respond to transnational terrorism attacks. And so one example is we have our research and development effort in Singapore. Our national laboratories, they work very closely with other countries such as USA, France, and Sweden to carry out research which is related to handling chemical, biological, radiological, and explosive um, attacks, so that in the event that such attack happen, we know how to react and how to handle this so that the casualty and the damage can be brought to a minimum. Okay, another example that we collaborate with other country is through the multinational emergency preparedness exercise, such as with the ASEAN. There's this ASEAN Defense Minister meeting plus counter-terrorism exercise that is held in 2013. So these countries, which includes ASEAN, Australia, China, and USA, will come together to coordinate operations against CBRE-related terrorist attack. They will share knowledge on how to deal with them and to conduct exercises. The last collaboration effort that Singapore has is our participation in peacekeeping mission across the world. We are a member of International Security Agency, and therefore, if any country requires help, our Singapore Armed Force have actually deployed 500 personnel to uh, Afghanistan during 2007 to 2013 to contribute expertise in various areas such as construction, engineering, humanitarian, surgical, dental care, as well as training the national security forces there. So that's how Singapore contributes in our peacekeeping mission. Okay, so to conclude, we have covered the responsive measures. There are two types of responsive measure, which is the emergency preparedness exercise. You saw how Singapore carried out the two different exercises, and then we had collaboration with other countries as well to learn how to react to different types of attacks, as well as there's collaboration between countries to carry out exercises to counter terrorism. And we also contribute to peacekeeping mission to help other countries who is facing uh, terrorist threats and they require help. Okay, this lecture brings us back to the end of this entire syllabus, which is on security impact of globalization. We started off the lecture with looking at impacts of terrorism, recapping what we have covered, looking at the different groups of terrorists in the world and how they have a very widespread network across countries. And then finally, we look at how to manage transnational terrorism through the three different approaches, which is preventive, protective, and responsive measures. And of course, these measures are not perfect. There are still limitations because of the trade-off that we see that government have to handle when they implement measures because there's conflicting needs between the interests of the country as well as the individual. Okay, so now that you have finished the lecture, I would like you to go to SLS and then we will do a short activity there.